You may have caught this if you haven't already, but like in my state, we're just now fixing to see Gen 5. So if you don't know, basically come start of Monday, we're going to have access to the Gen 5. We'll also see Canyon Clash around, a bunch of startups to a bunch of events, as you might expect, right? But one of them happens to be Nora. And Nora is kind of an interesting Lancer hero in part because when you look at the skills, it's an area of effect skill, so anything area of effect is effectively going to make them very good in arena. But then what's interesting is you notice how it takes taken down and damage up 15%, extra damage up by 100%, with a 20% chance of doing it, and then 25% damage taken down and 25% damage taken up, which for expedition skills is pretty darn powerful. Plus, looking at that core stat being 444% is a pretty significant jump, compared to where we were in Gen 3 and Gen 4. So with that said, of course, Gen 5 has a lot to offer, and there's a lot more to talk about there, but I just thought I'd briefly mention it for my state, for those of you watching and or are in the ballpark and are kind of wondering how big of a jump it actually is. For context, like let's say I have Mia, for example, okay, who you get in Gen 2 is at 290. So, I mean, of course, that's even with gear on, like if you take gear off, you'll see that that's actually not going to adjust it by a whole lot, right? But, I mean, it's a little, it's like not a lot, but enough to notice. And the main thing here is that, it's like, it's a stepping stone of about 100%. It's a substantial jump. And so for that reason, it's like, okay, so we've got Nora coming. Of course, I'm not going to end up getting Reyna like I was expecting to. It didn't happen. So we'll have to wait and see when more of the Gen 5 kind of roll through. But Nora is going to be one of the first few that we'll see coming up in the state. As you guys probably picked up, I am now running HKE. I am now the leader of it in 467. So for those of you that are kind of like unfamiliar with their state, okay, this is kind of like a synopsis of what the state looks like right now. Okay, so you've got Core leading the whole little statehood of 467, I guess, right? Who would have guessed? Because you can see that Red has got a couple forts. It's predominantly ruled by, really only a couple of guilds. There's FKN, which, they still managed to maintain their status in the state, so they're still out there, right? But this is kind of what it looks like in general. Something else, I guess, is worth mentioning for those of you who are unfamiliar. All right, so among my state, okay, and the total ranking for everybody in the state, right, you can kind of get an idea of like who's all pretty much ranking right now. It's kind of tilted in favor of certain players and certain groups of people, right? But the overarching detail that I feel like is kind of worth mentioning here is even though, right, we've got Takeshi, which is 1.7 billion, and Pluto at 472, some people at 445, it's like kind of daunting, really, because here I am at like 237, and a lot of these players that, I've been playing with are like now 200 times of what they were, is actually kind of mind-boggling. Being that I'm only at rank 22, and yet everybody else is like way, way leagues and above of where I was. And this is not, this almost means nothing anymore. Like, you're looking at the total power. I mean, 100 mil total power, it's just like, it doesn't get any more ridiculous. You're surrounded by players that are very much tilted. We're still in tier 5, so there's not a whole lot there that's changed. really about only thing I can say about it really is it's like my pet powers, minutia compared to like a lot of the players. Kill counts are still pretty pretty lame. It's lame, but it's like this is what the kill counts look like. Um, as far as prosperity goes, this is what that looks like. In any case, I just thought I'd go over and just kind of show you what it looked like, for those of you that have been kind of wondering what 467 looks like and how things have been doing. But overall, we're still hanging in there. We're doing all right. We just got done, not that long ago. We'll have eventually a bear trap to do and some other stuff that we can do. So it'll be kind of fun and interesting. But needless to say, I just thought I'd kind of point that out. Of course, one of the things that I'm still working on is my island, which for those of you that are kind of curious, like how is that coming along? Yeah, I'm slow as shit. Okay, like give me a break. I'm like I'm a little behind, but I've like for the most part explored the island at this point. I'm just kind of like working on getting most of these specific buildings up to like level 3. I just, it's like it's a bit of a struggle because it's so slow and I've been so far behind for so long. But I'm just now like starting to catch up on my island. And so I did get the giant horn, which is kind of cool. No, I will say that for all things included, right? And of course, there's the arena, which in and of itself is still kind of a nutty ordeal, right? Because at this point, I'm just now starting to come to this realization that like sooner or later, I'm not going to be competitive in this at all, even with Gen 2 and Gen 3. Like, it just isn't enough anymore. I'll have to start bringing up my Gen 4s or bring my Gen 5s into fruit here, because otherwise we will have a really bad time trying to keep up with it. But again, it's just like a lot of things. It takes a matter of time until it winds up catching up with you. But in any case, I just thought I'd go ahead and showcase it off a little bit and kind of give you guys an idea of what things are like. Of course, Brother in Arms is kind of in full throttle. I don't know why we've been doing this. I don't really have there's not a logic to it, but we've literally been putting everybody in these lanes. And it's just been working out for us sometimes and not. It just varies from time to time. As far as forts and bear hunt goes, I mean, there's not really a whole lot to discuss here other than that, really. I mean, it's just Icefield's almost coming to a wrap. So, of course, we'll have a couple of bits and pieces here and there. But other than that, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time.